Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Weiner Wellness Virtual Summit, May Spring Fling. With me today is Jamie Dorley, CEO and owner of both Nutritional Frontiers and the Weiner Wellness Center, which will soon be called WOW, World of Wellness. Joe Messino, the Godfather and Facility Director, and my name is Tracy Straub. I'm the Vice President of Education and Marketing for Nutritional Frontiers and the World of Wellness / Weiner Wellness Center. I can't wait for the name change.
It's a mouthful. Yeah.
It is, but that's okay. I mean, once you get it down, it's fine. Good morning. Good morning. How has your week been? I cannot believe it's Friday already.
Yeah, today's a very special day, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Not Friday the 13th, but Friday the 14th. And a very special
Super lucky.
39th birthday to the lovely and talented Dr. Tracy Straub. Take it away, Joe.
Come on, Joe, sing for me.
Okay. Happy birthday, Tracy.
That was almost as good as my Vince Neil spoof this morning. Thank you, Michaela, for what you allotted for my birthday.
The real one wasn't that much more. Next year he might be 20. So.
Right. It didn't look much different, right? So, I mean, yeah. Well, good morning. Thank you so much. Yes, it is my birthday, and my family was so sweet this morning. They got me new little earrings, and of course, they got me my clicky pens that I love from the 80s. They know me.
Fourth grade.
I know. Yeah. I know. I have them all over the place. So these are my pens. I love them. I have multiple colors. But it's been a great morning, and my boys were really sweet. So thank you to my family.
They started off early, huh?
Well, yeah, 6:30 in the morning. Wake up. Here we go. That's okay. It was really nice to kind of wake up like that. And I'm just grateful to be healthy. And I, attribute that to all of my education all through my life and the people that stepped into the gaps and helped me get healthy and taught me about natural health and, including you guys. And
come on in, Doc. Look who's here.
Uh-oh.
Oh, special guest. Here he is. You got to sing.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you, Dr. Honigman.
Maybe personally. But
I get my own personal.
Wow.
Absolutely. You deserve it.
All right, good. I'll wait for you down below my window.
I'm bringing my band.
Uh-oh.
All right, cool.
The band back together. We got a band between WOW and Nutritional Frontiers. We got Mastracci, the bass player. We got Joe on lead vocals. We got Tracy on drums.
I can be the doo-wop, right? I'll be in the back.
And you ever see Mikey G shred the guitar? He's like Eddie Van Halen Jr. So we got the whole team together.
He plays guitar?
Yes, he does. Yeah, so we got a whole team together. But you brought up an interesting point about taking your responsibility. I was listening to the workshop yesterday with Jacqueline Sheehan, and she's a nurse practitioner. And I loved it because I just listened to a friend of mine talking about how, people focus on their feet, right? You wear socks and shoes, right? People focus on their hands with gloves and clothes and, getting your nails done. But how many people really work on their brain, right? And when she talked about what level of consciousness do you have about your health, I said, well, that could apply to your life too, right?
Right.
It can apply to your spirituality. But in particular health, there are some people that have no consciousness. They're just going about their daily life. I see it across the street when I was stopping by to get at the hot dog shop. I was getting a coffee, and I saw what people were ordering. And they just, I know they're working construction, whatever they're doing, but, they didn't even seem to care or mind or be aware that what they're eating had anything to do with how they felt, looked, and functioned. And then you have the people in the middle, the messy middle or the mushy middle. That I remember I used to be a personal trainer, and I had a client come in after the weekend. I said, "How'd you do?" "I did great." I said, "Oh, what'd you do yesterday?" "I went to the Steeler game." And I said, "Well," he says, "Well, I listened to what you said. I had light beer, and I only had 6 of them." I was like, 6 beers at the game at 10 o'clock in the morning. He said, "Normally I have about 10, and I'm doing shots, and and I was like, I get it. So, there's some people, some consciousness, and then there's people like us that really, they're aware of everything they're doing. And, one of my mentors said, look, you only got one body. You got to treat it like a temple. He's like, some people may want to do a couple shots. He goes, I'm bringing protein shakes over. That's what we're doing today, right? So there's people on different levels, but you can transition from one to the other, and you don't ever mean you have to stay there either. You can also regress, right? So I love that she really hit on that part a lot, because sometimes we take it for granted that people are aware of this, or even aware of their own health, right? So I'm sure you see many patients come in to see you and clients when you're personal training, Tracy and Joe, even you doing the martial arts, where what level are they at? Are they really just doing this without realizing it? Are they into it, or are they going to follow everything?
You see it all the time in every aspect, because there's so many activities where people just do it to go through the motion, do it to have the activity. Some people take it to the next level, some take it to the top level. But you see all three of those, I think, in every activity and every, facet of life. So it depends on which one you're going to choose to excel at. We choose to excel at natural health. So, but there's other people that just dabble in it, right? They come into the center here. Oh, you got good. Do you have a good vitamin for this? Or, can I get my blood pressure down? And you willing to go through the lifestyle change? Well, no, I just, wanted to see if you had a supplement. So yeah,
right.
At least they're coming in. There's some people that aren't even aware of this.
Exactly.
I was talking to a friend at the gym. And I says, she goes, what do you do? I says, I do wellness. She's like, well, what do you mean? I was like, you're working out in the gym. Have you ever seen a chiropractor or a nutritionist? Or she says, no. I'd never even been into a chiropractor's office. I never even met with a naturopath. She says, I just started working out. I was like, but at least she took that first step. And that's why we have the wellness weeks, because when people have a wellness experience, it always snowballs into more and more and bigger and more exciting. And with success, your challenges increase, right? So you're trying to make better decisions because you realize, oh, wow, I got some success. How do I get more?
Yeah. I like Jacqueline's idea too, when she was talking about the mindset, like having the right mindset to get healthy. And it was really important for her to get people focused on what they were doing. And like you said, Jamie, it's not just this direct path. It's like weight loss, right? You lose weight and then you hit that plateau, and you lose weight and you hit that plateau. And the same thing goes with natural health. That people think they start a healthy lifestyle and all of a sudden everything's going to go away, all their symptoms. And 80% go away. But I usually tell people, you've spent a lifetime getting to this point of dis-ease. We can't get you out of it in a month or 2 months. It's just going to take some time. And I think we've been indoctrinated to think that it should be instant, right? We should have no symptoms, feel better right away. And unfortunately, that's been the way the allopathic has moved the model. It's here's a pill for your ill and it's going to repress your symptom, but it doesn't really get to the root. And so that mindset change is a big one, where people come in and I'm like, that's great, you're working out. But if you stop at McDonald's after you do it, you're kind of defeating the health goal, not the weight loss goal, not the toning goal. And it will impact that too, but the overall health goal of why you started to work out. And January 1st is usually the biggest time when everyone's like, hey, I'm going to get healthy this year. And what do? They don't call a chiropractor. They don't call a naturopath. They call a gym and they go join it, or they hire a personal trainer. And that's not a bad thing. That's a great first step. But it takes a village. And I think that's what we've seen through this whole week is there's so many pathways to health that you don't just have to choose one. And it's not about deprivation but it's about nutrition and opening up your nutrition plan and really expanding your foods. And it's really about freedom, right? It's I get to choose all this healthy stuff and put it into my life rather than, well, I can't eat cake anymore. So I think the mindset of what Jacqueline was talking about is we got to change our minds on what this looks like first. And then we can really step into appreciating the path and appreciating this walk, and that there is a lot of fun in it. And I think we've seen that all week, so many different ways. I mean, from hydrogen water, that we saw studies on that with Parkinson's, to using peptides and nutraceuticals together from a nurse practitioner. So really vast education this week.
Yeah, and the process never ends. I think a lot of people want something, hey, I'm going to go on this diet, I'm going to lose the weight, and I'm done. Then I can go back to doing whatever I do. But I find when you surround yourself with great people like you two, and I have one of my favorites. Have an outstanding day. Stan the Man from New Jersey, wishing you a happy birthday.
Stan's great.
And, just some of his messages, right? And I'll comment occasionally, but I always read them because here's a guy that practices what he preaches. He's a veteran. He gets up early in the morning. He's doing his spirituality. He always says, I'm going to bed. It's like 8:30. He's going to bed and saying his prayers and, hey, I'm going to be up early and going to the gym. So, if you're not sure, you can always follow the lead of others, right? And I think that's the exciting part about the Wellness Week. And we had people like Paulina on yesterday.
Yeah.
Fantastic, right? Talking about her program. And she had texted me later in the day and she says, oh, I was a little bit under the weather. I said, we couldn't tell.
Yeah, she did great.
Well, I heard,
Yeah,
I heard her voice, Jay. I mean, you said yesterday, she's got such a delivery, especially being from Russia, and now she's here. And I wasn't even watching the screen, but when I heard her voice, I knew it was her, and you could feel that energy just radiating out of her.
Yeah, and there's an example of like a program that is very kind of, people come in and she has a set way she does it. And for a lot of people, they need that, I mean, I don't want to down any programs either, because I know when I first started and you're overwhelmed by everything out there, that if someone's like, here's a program, it's a 1, 2, 3 step to get you rolling. And then you get to work with a coach like Paulina's whole team. It's really helpful to people. And then, as she said, as they move along, she educates them. She teaches them how to read labels. Like, that was awesome when she's like, we turn the bottle around and we go to the other ingredients first and we teach them, like, you have to look for these things. I mean, how empowering is that for somebody now to go into the Weiner Wellness Center and have that skill because they worked with Paulina for a time, got that first step into health, and now they can walk into any facility anywhere in the country and know what supplements are better for their body than others. So really cool stuff.
That's what we need, Joe. We need to set the Paulina basket. She has the basket of death, she calls it.
Or shame or whatever she says. It's huge.
She makes them put the vitamins right in there or the food, and they're not allowed to get it back, and she throws it away. It's like, you can't get this back. So I did a review with somebody the other day with that, looking at some products, right? So this is very common for us, and it's part of the process, right? And I like how she sets up the program, because at the beginning, you need really a lot of structure. It's like, you need to learn your ABCs, right? And then you continue to grow, and it's a never-ending process, right? People just got to enjoy the process, because I learned so much, not only this week, but this year. I seeked out an old trainer of mine. He taught me some new things. I tried some different diet plans. I experimented a little bit. Increasing my water intake after Tracy's post, right? I'm looking forward to trying the hydrogen peroxide or hydrogen pellets, right? So there's so many great things. And even some of I'm talking about Paulina, some of her food combining, right? What do you eat first in the morning determines if your body's going to burn or store. Somebody came in yesterday and she says, well, I want to lose weight. I said, okay. How much weight do you want to lose? 20 pounds. All right. When do you want to lose it by? Well, I'm not sure. I'm going on vacation in a couple of months. So I showed her the Power Cleanse. Too expensive. Right? Yeah. I said, well, wait a minute. What is your budget? She goes, I don't have a budget. I said, well, how much do you expect? She goes, well, I didn't want to buy anything today. I was just looking. I said, all right, well, let's start with the diet program. Here's the foods you should eat. I gave her 2 copies of Holistic Truth for free. And I asked her what she did for breakfast and lunch yesterday. Breakfast was toast, and lunch was Panera, about $8 for a salad. I said, okay. So if you eat salad every day from Panera, it's $240 per month, right?
Oh.
Well, it's very common. It's only $8. God, you go to some of the places around here, the salmon salad, 16, Joe.
Right.
A lot of money in a month, folks. You can do the Power Cleanse with your multivitamin, your mineral, and your liver support, and all your food and fiber for less than $3 a day. And I showed her the Super Shake, less than $2 a day. She wanted buying the Super Shake, and I hear her saying to somebody, I'm standing there, I think Dr. Phil was there. She goes, oh, he's a great salesman. I said, if I was a great salesman, I would have got you on the Power Cleanse, right? But the point was that how much do you value your health? Right?
Yeah.
I said, this is food. It's less than $2 for breakfast. You just had toast, which tells your body to store everything you eat today. So it goes back to some of the foundationals, but also what's the value, right?
Mhm.
And we were joking around. She was a sweetheart. I said, "You're going to Hawaii. That's got to cost $10,000 at least, right? At least. I've never been there, but it sounds expensive, right?" I said, "Well, how much do you value your health?" I said, "The shake is less than $2 for breakfast. That's all." So go back to some of the fundamentals. I love how Paulina has the tower of shakes in her room, in her office, and I've been out there. Those things move quick because people understand that's food. I'm eating.
Right. And that was one of the things she and I talked about yesterday, was the fact that shakes have, received such a bad reputation in the industry because people look at them and think that it's all about being deprived, right? Oh, I got to drink this shake and I can't have this or I can't have that, when really it's just about putting in more nutrition to help you stabilize your hormones, putting in more nutrition to overcome structural aches and pains and damage, putting in more nutrition to get more macro and micronutrients. And that's really what our shakes are designed for. I mean, they're complete panels just from Super Shake, has all of the good stuff in it. And then if you go to Power Cleanse, well, that's a multivitamin and a detox matrix and your macronutrients. So it's not really about, you're not being deprived from anything. You're actually being completely nutrified by just taking one shake a day. And I usually tell people, if you don't want to replace a meal, you don't have to, but just add it in. Add it in so we can give your body some fuel, so it can do what it needs to do to get you healthy. Because right now, most people are nutrient deficient and toxic. And that is really the two pathways to whatever dis-ease your body is demonstrating, whether it's weight gain or thyroid dysfunction. To me, it looks all the same. I'm like, oh, your body's giving me a sign. Let's figure out why it's giving us that sign, right? And I think that's what we have to look at as practitioners. We got to start approaching the body as, where are the nutrient gaps and where are the toxicity? It doesn't matter what the symptom is.
Absolutely. And I think when Paulina was talking about the macronutrient profiles, like what do people need to eat specifically to turn on that metabolism, right?
Right.
And it's not a punishment for weight loss. It's to give your body the fuel it needs so it can run at an optimal level.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of the public, not people following us as much, but most of the public looks at health as weight. It's like, oh,
Right.
if they're thin, they're healthy. Not necessarily. And it's not a punishment to eat right or do the smoothie, but do it properly so that you get the fuel that your body needs to recover from what you've done and the energy it needs to move forward. And, Stan's commenting that he does a shake with a meal. I recommend that for a lot of people. If you're going to do a bowl of oatmeal because you're working out and you want those carbs, do the protein shake. Because the number one macronutrient people are deficient in is good, high-quality proteins.
Mhm.
Right. And, there was a little comment here about the sugar in Power Cleanse. The average person takes in 18 tablespoons of sugar a year. 18 tablespoons.
A year,
That's
maybe
a
a
lot.
day.
No,
Right. And that's probably more now. I mean, these are old stats, but, I drink Power Cleanse every day. And around that, I try to live the healthiest lifestyle I can, right? Every once in a while, it's a Friday night. We have baseball and piano and whatever else. And guess what? We're ordering pizza. That's life. But you have to get ahead of your inflammation. You have to get ahead of your nutrient deficiency. You have to get ahead of your toxicity. And then your body is more able to offset any of the little stuff that we might do 20% of the time. And a little bit of sugar and Power Cleanse for me, it doesn't affect me because I'm ahead of the nutrient gaps. I'm ahead of the inflammation. That's where we have to get to. And honestly, guys, the amount of sugar that's in there is so minute. It's nothing compared to a Diet Coke or a Mountain Dew or whatever else people are eating. So I look at that and I have no qualms about giving somebody Power Cleanse who comes and sees me with that small amount of sugar, because usually when they're walking in, their diet consists exactly what we're talking about, right? They have the bagel for breakfast and they have the Kit Kat as the midday pick me up with a cup of coffee. I mean, I look at more of the nutrition panel in that than I do that little tiny bit of sugar. because it does have the phase 1 through phase 3 detox matrix. It does have all your macro and micronutrients. It does have the quadrifolic, the most bioavailable form of B vitamins on the market to fuel that methylation system to get healthy cellular regeneration. So it's really good. Maybe 19 grams a meal, more like 30 pounds of sugar. It is, Nathan. I mean, just unbelievable what people take in. 30 pounds of sugar a year. Oy.
Well, yeah, I just looked it up.
Painful.
The average American takes 72 grams per day of sugar.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and you look at this product, right? This formula, Power Cleanse. It's not just sugar. There's only 3 grams of evaporated cane juice in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you're looking at it overall, 3 grams. An apple has 22 grams. Right.
Yeah. And while I'm not a fan of refined sugar, right, Jamie? I mean, we're just not. We do no artificial colors or flavors. Everything is like our brand standard is clean. That's where we start. However, sugar is a natural occurring product of the earth. It's not bad. It's just been bleached and extremely overused. So I don't look at sugar and be like, oh, stay away, sugar. You know, I'm more of like, hey, it grows naturally. And if it's in its normal state and it's not highly processed, bleached, and dumbed down, a little bit isn't going to hurt you. Just like honey's not going to hurt you, right? I think we try to get so far away from sugar and things that have sugar in their natural forms that we come over here and we're better off with like xylitol or some sort of artificial thing that's not natural. And
they need flavor too, right?
That's right.
The big problem years ago, Jamie, you were able to get around it when you were in bodybuilding, but most people couldn't do the shakes because they didn't taste good. Mm-hmm. So they've got, if they're going to transition from this diet out here to something healthy, this is a perfect transition and it will taste good. That little bit of natural.
Yeah, and just so people know, I use the Power Cleanse every day. The nice thing about the Power Cleanse, even with the greens in it and the Mad Complete, it doesn't raise my blood sugar.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to be aware of that. Second, if you really want to go 0 sugar, we have those options with Super Shake. Mm-hmm. So we always have options for people. We decided with the Power Cleanse, because when you're trying to mass those vitamins and minerals in there, we use 3 grams of evaporated cane sugar, which is the most natural form at a small amount. Right. But we have options for people. It's not going to raise your blood sugar. It's not just by itself. You got all the protein, fiber, good fats. It all balances out. And if you want complete 0, then go to Super Shake. But I find is for people that don't have that flavoring, Joe, they're not going to do it.
That's right.
If you take away all those natural flavorings, even including some fruit, eventually they're going to go, would you say Kit Kat, Tracy? I haven't heard that word in a while, Joe.
Break me up a piece of that Kit Kat bar.
I wonder what her favorite candy is.
Well, that's not my favorite candy. Actually, it was Twix back in the day, but who's counting? No. Tonight it's going to be cake because Lucas made me a cake with sprinkles. So I'm going to have lots of artificial colors and flavors tonight, along with tons of sugar, and I'm going to like it. And then I'm going to drink lean greens afterwards.
The nice thing is the team at Nutritional Frontiers is going to have it's Free Food Friday at not only Nutritional Frontiers, they're going to celebrate your birthday, Tracy, and we have free food at the Wellness Center. So this is great.
And, we know that wasn't a criticism about the question about the sugar. It was a good question, and we appreciate all of the questions because these are points that we have to discuss with people. They ask these questions. The person asked it, you're not the only one, and we weren't criticizing. We were just explaining, like, as a practitioner, I look at somebody and say, oh, you were just eating this kind of diet. Here's Power Cleanse. To me, I'm like, no brainer. But for someone who's very educated, like Grace, her question was, hey, I use Super Shake. Why do you put sugar in Power Cleanse? Great question, and we appreciate it. So thank you for bringing that up because these questions and conversations need to be had because you're not the only one that's thinking that,
as you can tell, we've been asked this quite a few times, so we were ready for it. So.
We were ready.
Like you said, in Power Cleanse, full multivitamin mineral component, complete multivitamin mineral component. You don't get that in the Kit Kat, Tracy.
No, you don't.
So,
you don't.
Yeah, you get a full multivitamin mineral because many times I've learned, in these discussions on blood sugar and insulin, it's the mineral deficiencies that affect it even more.
Yeah.
to help get that glucose into the cells. So that's
Right.
covered. It's in
Yeah,
there.
and that's not gluten-free, dairy-free either. So here's our schedule coming up today. We don't want to hold up our Jeff Nisnik, who's coming up first at 9 o'clock, followed by Ashley Rossi at 10 a.m., who's going to be talking about emotional eating. And man, this is going to be a good topic, guys. Tune in for this, because are you eating your feelings? It's very possible you
Yes,
are.
I am.
And then 11, Dr. Gideon Orbach is coming back with some chiropractic adjustment exercises to hold that adjustment in between appointments. And then we are back, Jamie, Joe, and myself, exposing the medical model and all the little things you may not know that your doctor can or cannot do. So we are going to take that to the next level.
This is an exciting day, and I love all the speakers. I had a guy come in yesterday talking about how Jeff Nisnik saved his son's life because of really bad eczema and psoriasis. You saw that guy, Joe.
Yeah.
He was fired up and excited.
Incredible, yes.
He's got Division I wrestlers in his house, and
Yeah.
one kid was really suffering. So Jeff's doing an awesome job. This thing with emotional eating, I was talking to a family member recently, and they were saying, I said, well, I'm trying not to eat. Well, you got to eat that stuff sometimes. They go, don't you like it to taste? I go, yeah, but it makes me feel good. That's why I eat sugar, right? And I think I thought a lot of people felt that way. So I'm interested to see what Ashley's thoughts are on emotional eating, because I think a lot of people, maybe they're not feeling their best, or they're a little depressed, or they can't sleep. So that ice cream almost makes them feel good, right?
Yeah.
And I was, Dr. Bland was showing research years ago about people, it almost mimics like a sedative, right? Or an opiate in the brain, dairy products. So it almost gets that dopamine and serotonin the balance, but you never quite get that. And then you have the guilt afterwards of what you just ate, right?
Right.
So that's
and then you have the sugar crash afterwards that offsets that entire hormone panel again. So yeah, she does a really good job. I watched this lecture. She did it before. She really points out some things that you're kind of like, oh, okay, yeah. And Ashley, she impresses me over and over again. She's a great teacher, and she's very smart. She knows digestion inside and out. And her lecture yesterday was awesome. So
yeah, it was
good stuff. Well, guys, we're going to let Jeff Nisnik, applied
All right.
kinesiologist from the
All
Wonder
right,
Wellness Center.
One
here.
last round, Joe. You going to do a little dance and sing?
We'll save it for noon. We'll do it again.
All right, we'll do it again.
right, we gotta
Coming
start
back.
that. All right,
Birthday
thank you, guys.
celebration
Have
at
a great day.
noon. Thank you. Stay tuned, everybody, because Jeff Nisnik is coming up from the Weiner Wellness Center talking to us about applied kinesiology for athletes and beyond.